Back to Look at Lunch. That was a track called, I don't know what it was called, because Laura LaRock didn't, Light My Fuse. Should have been able to get that from the lyrics. Anyway, we're going to be hearing Laura's music throughout the show, so we're looking forward to more as we go along here.
Awesome, by the way.
Yeah. So we got Victor Rudik here joining us at the table. Victor, great to have you on the show.
Great.
Hi,
Thanks.
Victor.
Now, boy, you know what? It's like when I was a little kid.
I know why it's called a 1-inch army.
Why?
Because they're 1 inch tall.
Yeah, some of them are. Well, this is the book. This is the new book, right?
This book is taller.
Right, Victor?
This book is
This book is thicker than the soldiers. Look how thick that is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's 2 inches anyway.
Compared to this one, this is the original one. Look at the size difference.
Oh my God.
What happened, Victor? Did you just 20 years of toy soldier collecting? Is that what happened here?
It's they're separated by 10 years.
Okay.
And a great leap in technology. The internet has really expanded a lot, so my research ability expanded a lot as well.
There's a lot more research in the second book.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And lots of pictures. I've noticed there's a lot of pictures.
Yeah, both black and white and color. I contacted hundreds of companies. My sister helped a lot.
Nice.
And I have been in touch with people all around the world trying to get information. And in some cases, I could just find out that a company existed and maybe one set that they made. They've been making them since the 1930s in that scale.
Wow.
It's all one. Is it all one scale that you're looking at?
Approximately. It's everything from about HO scale, which model railroaders would remember. The little figures are
small ones.
Yeah, a bit under an inch, to 35 millimeter.
Okay.
So approximately.
So these go along with, like, for example, when I was a kid, I had Lego, I had Dinky Toys, I had O gauge model railroads, which was a little bit bigger, right? And it was always a way to use all these different things, but you had to have them at the same scale. The HO trains would have been too small for Dinky Toys, right? You might have had to go with the Matchbox or something like that if you were going along with the HO gauge.
Yeah, though when we were kids, it really didn't matter.
Oh, it mattered to me.
Oh, a purist.
Type A personality. So to someone who, like myself, who knows nothing about this, what is HO scale?
HO scale is approximately 1/87th. So 1 inch in our world would be shrunk down to 1/87th of an inch.
Okay.
Yeah. Or 1 inch equals 87 inches.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 inch. Okay.
So let's say a figure is a bit tall, an inch tall.
Okay.
In reality, they'd be 87 inches tall.
Okay, well that's like, do you know anybody who's 80?
That's a big person.
Yeah, do you know anybody who's 87? Maybe a reptilian.
Basketball players, perhaps.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Aha. Good segue.
Yes.
Into something he brought.
Yeah, that's a limited edition set by a company called Caesar Miniatures. It was one of
Can we show this?
8 sets. One of 8 sets made for the Beijing Olympics. And out there in front is Yao Ming himself.
Well, that's that real tall Chinese basketball player.
Yeah. So would that, is it safe to assume that he's a little bit more, he's 1 inch, he would be a 1 incher because he's 87, he's closer to the 87 inch thing?
Yeah. Usually Caesar Miniatures makes figures that are 1/72nd, which is the big scale these days. Everyone's getting into that. That scale, it's a little easier to see the detail.
Okay.
And a lot of war gamers use that scale.
So 1/72nd, 1/72?
Yes. So 1 inch there would be 72 inches in reality.
Now, can the two play together?
If you're not a purist.
Yes, if you're not a purist.
Okay, and he was cringing at that, so I guess for some people that's not okay. Can't we just all get along?
Well, it's like this. If you got I don't know how you feel about this, Victor, but if you got World War II soldiers, you can't have them battling like War of 1812 soldiers. You know?
That wouldn't work out too well.
No.
Why? Can't you just make up your own kind of battle?
Oh, yeah, and there are situations where you paint or you customize figures, making, well, a jumble. I have one figure in here that I painted up, and he's a cyborg. He started off as a Roman soldier, and then I added in pieces of a watch that I found and a few other things.
Okay, you added pieces of a watch you found and you put it on this little thing.
Yeah,
wow.
The hands, a few other
You
little
have to have very good
pieces.
eyesight and very steady hands to be
He's
able to
got a
do that.
magnifying glass as well.
Yeah.
So when you go to read, do you wear reading glasses yet?
No.
Okay, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Someday it will, but for the most part, my eyesight's great. I really don't need these glasses.
Okay, okay. So you don't find that causes a strain on your eyes when you do little details like that?
Yes, it does cause a strain. It's really hard to spend so much time on a single figure.
No kidding.
One
Intense
figure in
concentration.
here, the Confederate with the flag.
I don't know if we can show this or even zoom in on it if we can, but just give people a picture. Can we zoom in on this?
See some of the detail to
Guys?
some of the...
Is that full zoom? Can we zoom in a bit more?
Yeah, they've shifted around a bit, but yeah, the Confederate figure in there took me 12 hours.
Wow, nice. So you've painted these?
Yeah.
You painted every single one in there?
In that box, yes. In my collection, no.
Wow. No, not...
I would need to live to about 30,000.
And then, but have eyes of a 30-year-old.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And that's just not going to happen.
Now, Victor, how did you get into this? Like, were you into this toy soldier thing when you were a kid?
Well, it all started with a model train table that my dad started making, and he got over at least that particular midlife crisis when I was about 5, and he abandoned it in my parents' basement. And being about 5 years old, and I don't know how tall, I could barely poke my nose over the edge of the table, but I saw this incredible little world. And in that world, there was a pack of little HO scale figures. And yeah, they were cool. They went well with my little Matchbox cars and other toys I had. And over time, I picked up some other figures here and there, some from friends, and one set in particular was a bunch of ancient Egyptians.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea where they came from, who made them, anything like that. So fast forward to university. I received a pamphlet from an online or a mail order hobby company in the States. And one of the things that they were selling at a great discount were those ancient Egyptians. They were made by a company called Atlantic out of Italy. And by that point, Atlantic had gone broke. They shut down their operation in 1985. And anyway, I saw, hey, here are these great soldiers that I remember from my childhood, and they also make all these others. And they're really cheap. So I figured, hey, I'll buy them.
You mean through the pamphlet they were cheap?
Yeah, through the pamphlet they were cheap. And so I bought quite a few boxes, and that just started me. I think I'm a born researcher, and from looking at the backs of the boxes, I could see, hey, they make all these other sets, and including a Roman Colosseum, Greek war fleet, Egyptian temple, things like that.
Wow.
And it just went from there. And one day I found out, hey, there's a toy soldier show down in New Jersey. So I actually flew into New Jersey to go to a toy soldier show.
Okay, were there a lot of people there?
Yeah, hundreds. Well, probably thousands.
Wow, amazing.
It's a piece of our culture, a subculture that most people never hear about, but we're everywhere.
Isn't that amazing? It's kind of like the Star Trek conventions.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Though we're
But
a
you'd
lot
never know
quieter.
well, you would never, what I mean by that is you'd never know to talk to somebody until they go to that convention, then they're, you know, it's like all heck breaks loose, and then they really come out. And I get the sense that that's kind of what it is with you guys too. You just kind of quiet, do your own thing, but when you get together to talk about this, well, watch out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's interesting, in my research I found there are all sorts of people out there, famous people, who are or have been toy soldier collectors, and we didn't know, like Malcolm Forbes, the billionaire.
Wow.
H.G. Wells.
So how did you find that out then? That these guys were?
Just online and reading magazines and things like that.
Okay, who else?
President Eisenhower. I've also heard the rumor that Mike Myers and Michael J. Fox are also collectors.
So these are like, there's a lot of in the closet toy
Yeah.
soldier collector.
Yeah.
Isn't
you
that
could say
interesting?
Now,
And-
okay.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to ask, but I mean, do you still play with them?
No, I'm an art collector.
Okay.
I am in it for these incredible miniature sculptures that, well, to paint them, to see the detail, it goes down to hundreds, thousandths of an inch. There are some figures where you can see the difference between their lips and their teeth.
Wow. So do you trade? What do you do with them?
Oh, yeah.
Do you just collect them, or do you pay for it? Like, do you sell them? How does this, is it like baseball cards where you kind of just flip and trade and that kind of thing?
There is a lot of buying and selling. For the most part, I'm a collector.
Okay, so you're buying more than you're selling.
And I also have a personal rule that I don't buy more than one of each set, unless it's a real rarity and I can get it for a great price.
I think you should make an appointment with Forbes and see if you can see his collection. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, Forbes is gone.
Oh, he's gone?
Yes.
Okay, who's still alive that's famous that has them? Okay, maybe
Peter Jackson, the Lord of the Rings guy. Yeah.
Wow. He would have an interesting collection.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't you want to see his? Wouldn't that be neat?
Now, whose is bigger? I mean, 270,000 seems like a lot. Do you think you might have the largest collection on the planet?
Get
no, it
out.
isn't. I know of several people who have larger collections.
Like how many? How much more could you possibly have?
Who's got the largest?
The largest I've heard, it isn't confirmed, 500,000.
So that's not really.
And is it somebody who's famous?
That's not too far to go. You're more than halfway there already.
Yeah.
Are you?
Another 5 years.
Are you going to intend to beat him? Get more than 500,000?
If I do, I do. If I don't, well, I can take solace in the fact that mine is the most diverse collection in the world.
But it must be really hard for you to find them. When you have this many, how do you find them? Like ones that are really appealing to you?
Well, it's a mix of eBay
Okay.
and online retailers all around the world. I've learned how to say toy soldier in about a dozen languages.
Wow.
And though please don't test me.
Wow.
Yeah, and getting to know the manufacturers themselves.
Now, I'm just thinking, because you mentioned companies from Italy, and I didn't realize that there were so many. Like you say, you've got the most diverse collection in the world. I didn't realize there were so many manufacturers. When I was a kid, it was like you'd go to Woolco or Woolworths or whatever, and there was a bag of green plastic World War II soldiers, and I thought pretty much that was about it. And has the world changed? Because today you can just imagine that these things are being mass-produced in China, and and a lot of the traditional manufacturers may have gone out of business. Is that the case? And what does that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, diversification. It's all over the world. There are little guys that they're operating out of their basement, and they make 1 or 2 sets out of resin. Then there are the big manufacturers, the hobby companies that have been around forever, like Airfix. Airfix is still making stuff.
I remember them. They used to make, I think they made model airplanes and stuff too.
Yep,
right?
they still do.
Wow.
So do you also have the environments for these toy soldiers to play in?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
My place, I have one room. It's about 11 feet square, and it's essentially a warehouse.
Okay.
I wish I had the room to set up dioramas, but I don't. And I keep my collecting life separate from the rest of my life.
Okay.
That way I'm not one of those crazy collectors out there.
Sounds like a sane thing to do.
Yeah, I try not to be one of those people where every square inch of space is covered in whatever, Hello Kitty or
and that way people can't trip on them.
Well,
either,
it sounds like though you have enough stuff and it's diverse enough that maybe one day you can open up maybe even a museum or something like that and actually charge money for people to come and see it.
That's a great idea.
Well, funny you should mention that. I have just made contact with someone at the ROM, at the Royal Ontario Museum, and my goal is to have them stage a special exhibit of my collection.
And are they expressing interest right now?
I haven't yet gotten to that point of asking, hey, let's do something here.
And I would think the ROM might only be one of a lot of different possibilities that you might be able to work with, whether it's some of the military museums or, and there's a place over on University, I think. It's a military historical something or other.
Yeah.
So there's lots of possibilities. Yeah,
certainly the ROM, the AGO as well, because they have their model ships in the basement. And
have you ever thought of, even there's some sort of hobbies and collector shows, aren't there?
Oh yeah.
Do you go to those?
Oh yes. I'm going to a show in London, England, or Richmond, Surrey, end of the district subway line in London. I'm going there soon.
And do you bring all this? Do you have a booth? Is that what? Or are you just going as a attendant?
Well, I've gone there as a collector, and I've gone there selling my book.
Okay.
Which helps support my hobby. Yes, must feed the beast.
Yes.
And
now, which book?
Well, I would think that really with this new book that it's probably putting you on the map as kind of the expert in the field.
Yeah, actually, the first one, it was the first book of its kind. Came out in 2002. And I had reviewers all over the world saying, this is the Bible of collecting. Which
if this is the Bible, this here is the entire history of all literature.
Well, it says it's the definitive guide to small-scale plastic soldiers and accessories. So I guess that's like everything you could ever possibly want to know.
For now.
Is that up to 2012? Up to 2012. Is this? Do you think this is a growing thing, Victor? Is it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a massively growing marketplace.
Why? Why do you think that is? Any theories?
Well, a lot of people or a lot of guys who grew up with these little guys back in the 60s and 70s. Now they're in their peak earning years.
Okay. Okay.
So they're in their midlife crises, or or just looking to reconnect with something from their childhood.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think too, it's like people would really like to command their own real armies.
Yeah.
But very few people can actually do that, so they have to resort to the
So is
toy soldiers.
this the part that where everybody kind of wants to be like a Bush?
Oh no.
Like
more Napoleon.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's probably better.
Napoleonics
Okay.
are
Okay.
huge.
Okay. Okay.
Napoleonics.
Napoleonics.
World War II.
Okay.
Yeah, Napoleonics. So anything from the late 1700s through to 1815, Battle of Waterloo.
Wow.
Also, the anniversary's coming up, so that's going to be huge.
I know we're going to go, but just one quick question. Do women buy this?
There are a few.
Okay.
There are a few.
Okay.
I bet they're highly sought after by the males.
Oh,
Well, I'm thinking it's like 99% market toward males.
So if you get that 1%, it's a good ratio.
You know why? Because women aren't into battlegrounds. I mean, if we had like a hospital scene where we were saving lives, then you'd have women involved. I
well,
think.
there are those. There are sets.
Are there little women toy soldiers?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have one in here.
He has one. See, probably there's 100 in there.
Oh, I have two.
Oh, there we go. Two.
Are they soldiers or are they nurses?
One is a soldier.
Here you
One
go.
is a
nun.
barbarian,
Oh yeah.
and the other one is the nun.
Wow. So we're going
Yes.
to both extremes. These. Okay, the detail is absolutely amazing. I don't know if we can zoom up, but my God, that's amazing.
Okay.
Wow.
Here
Yeah,
you go.
and-
We're zooming in, Sandra.
Wow, look at that. I mean, it's total. Her hair is fiery red. She's got some sort of axe in her hand, and she's right beside a nun. So talk about ego and alter ego.
Why do you have to be such a barbarian?
I know. Bless me.
Oh yeah, and then there are others, women snipers from World War II.
Wow.
Russian snipers.
I'm liking this. See?
Oh, yeah.
They're all like Xena warriors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Victor, that's just about all the time we have.
Okay.
But I mean, people who are into this are going to be really into it, and
Yeah.
they've been sold since the beginning, and they probably want to get their hands on this one.
And it's both
Do
hands
they
you
need both, or does this one kind of include everything that the first book?
Has everything
Does.
the first book had, plus 600% more.
So now here in 2012, this is the definitive guide to all things toy soldier.
Yes.
And what's the best way for people to get their hands on this book if they want to?
Best way is to contact me at the1incharmy@hotmail.com.
Okay, the
One-
1incharmy@hotmail.com.
The 1-inch-army.
That's all spelt out. One incharmy@hotmail.com. And do you have a website or something where people can
I'm
order
on
the
Facebook,
book? Okay. And what do they look up on Facebook?
The 1-inch-army 2.
Two as in two lines,
Yes.
right? Okay. Two.
The two Roman,
The two Roman- yeah,
numeral 2.
yeah.
The
Yes.
1-inch army. Okay, Victor. Great to have you on the show today.
And
Sorry
good
we didn't
luck
get a
at the show
chance
in
to
London.
actually play with these things and have a massive campaign, but we have all the resources for people who want to follow up and do that.
You
So
and I
thanks
should
for
go to
doing this.
battle. Look, I like this one. You and I kind of could give a battle
Oh yeah.
Okay.
as we go.
Hey, let's take a little break. We're going to play some more Laura LaRocque, and we're going to come back with Laura and talk about her new CD right after this as Liquid Lunch continues.
Grab one.
Me.